Oh no!
Hiya, kids. I haven't uploaded in a while. Raw, SmackDown, and Super Showdown will be finished this afternoon. I know I have a lot of work to do, but other than that, it's good to be back. So we started off with the Gauntlet match that had R-Truth have 3 eliminations on Bobby Lashley, Andrade, and Eric Rowan. 2 via pinfall, 1 via disqualification. The best match out of all of that was Andrade. 2 spear attempts. They were incredibly predictable on trying to drag off, even though like most of their finishing moves could do quick work. A spear, the hammerlock DDT. It was off incredibly sluggish schoolboy over a missed spear over to the ring post. R-Truth got the pin there. It felt so played out that it's obvious that team is going to have at least a few eliminations or win the whole thing. Even though I think that giving R-Truth more screen time would cause the show to be a bit more entertaining. If he won the stupid trophy, that makes no damn difference. Then Andrade off of the fake kick into a back elbow, and they succeeded to a double headbutt that caused both men to go down, but R-Truth went on top first for the 1-2-3. Andrade then hit him with the hammerlock DDT and kept beating the crap out of him until Eric Rowan came. When he was brawling and immediately attacking him through the through the outside, using the extent of time, it ended up with him accidentally hitting the stupid pet that's been on TV since November, and yet we still have no developing uh, issues on what the hell is going to look like. I know on a random episode of Raw, you're just going to make a massive surprise, and some people are just going to be disappointed as hell anyway. So I have no interest on the pet anymore, because they don't do anything to actually show what type of animal it is, show if it is an animal, why does it bite, or why does it need to be covered. So my loss of interest came. So a DQ finish, AJ Styles came around dancing, trotting, hitting backbreakers, going for the knee while the shoulder was a sole injury for the match since Andrade kept trying to break it. But he went for a certain little arm breaker and then started selling the leg. I thought it was like basic heel heat for AJ Styles just coming around. Sorry. Might not edit that out. So, yeah, it just ended up with AJ winning via submission until The Undertaker predictably came. Because obviously 36 was such a success that now they need The Undertaker. And it ended up with him winning off the slowest chokeslam because he still had his coat on. After the OC came from a backstage assault, they got assaulted backstage against The Undertaker. A 50-something-year-old Undertaker. A man near pushing 60. Man that have been doing this so long that they needed to make this match quick and give a fictional trophy to a part-timer that's barely going to be on weekly episodes of Raw because he's too old now. So this match was seeing Styles dance for like 5-7 minutes was the Gauntlet match was pointless. Rey Mysterio had his music played twice when we knew he wasn't coming via backstage segment. That was practically it. The OC had a kickoff match against the Viking Raiders, but no one really cared about that match. So I'm not gonna go over it. It's good to see the Undertaker again, with his entrance being as quick as his match. But I'd rather see this match more times than his Cena match or his Goldberg match. So it's a win-win in that. Next up, one of the better matches on the show for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. It'll be the New Day facing off against The Miz and Morrison. The Dirt Sheet. Just say the Dirt Sheet if that's how you remember the team. Miz and Morrison win. It came off a steel chair being implemented into the finish after trying to roll out outside. Why is it apron finishes? They did it for the Raw Tag Team title match that it ended off with Buddy Murphy causing the match to be the referee to focus on him via distraction, then a curb stomp on Kofi Kingston. Then the pin accumulated into a way better match because I thought it was a bit more fast paced. And that was not Kofi Kingston. That was wow. That was Montez Ford. Am I racist because both teams were black and they lost? Wow. But this match was fine. Really fast paced. Great. Uh, Double stomp into a power bomb. I thought the New Day were like in peak condition. This was a great, fast-paced finish. Fast-paced near falls, and it was kind of predictable. It's obvious that they wanted the New Day to lose to actually give Miz and Morrison more screen time. Yeah. Then we had Angel Garza against Humberto, and they're making this match drag on because Andrade's back from his suspension. But losing off R-Truth kind of undersold the fact that he's still United States champion. He hasn't defended his title since January. So, yeah. Kind of not that impressed. And then, off a miscalculation like that, they just sell for the next week that there'll be a tag team match involving Rey Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo against Andrade and Angel Garza. Seen from the motif of this, so I don't know how long they're going to continue this feud. This match was okay. Decent moonsault off the outside. There was a couple of good moonsaults before Angel Garza countered. And it took like a combination of it was schoolboy, roll up, roll up, roll up. It's like if you leave the CPU on 2K14 to do a match. And you get the constant roll up, even though I like that way of wrestling. Don't know who's gonna win over that segment, but it was just meh. It just let him win off a cheap boy with the wing clipper. Zelina Vega couldn't be there, but Lana was there, but she was in a hijab actually covering herself up because she don't want to get stoned to death while Bobby Lashley's there. But it took off a pinfall finish over Angel Garza, so that's technically it. Next up, we had Street Profits face off against the Monday Night Messiah and his disciple, Buddy Murphy. A fight we're done shortening names. Apollo Crews just got his freaking name back, and he's a practical jobber. But Buddy Murphy, former Cruiserweight champion, he's now part of a big group on Monday Night Raw. And he's tag team champion? You're telling me he shortens his name so Vince could have a better time naming the group? Are you serious? There was a segment involving a double pedigree, even though Rollins got the curb stomp back years ago. But it got counted into a double DDT. A massive high vertical frog splash. That was so freaking awesome. The only positive that I can give to the Street Profits, they did not have a promo before the match. They didn't. A running senton got countered into a powerbomb into the barricade until a double clothesline came from Dawkins. After Buddy Murphy was trying to get forward after the power into the double powerbomb, Buddy Murphy got stopped by the referee for trying to bring him back into the ring while Ford was still hurting and then a curb stomp from Rollins, and how they won the tag team titles the first time. Really good match. Tremendous work. They kept thinking that it's a schemy tag team. They don't do much to cheap. It's just it's not that much cheapness except like opportunistic. They don't use the authors of pain, but they wouldn't clean off basic motifs of trying to get the referee distracted. They don't bring a weapon like Miz and Morrison do, so that's kind of a plus. Great, I thought this was the best match on the show, so I'll give it that. Then they introduced what's going to happen on Elimination Chamber. The biggest thing is, of course, the Women's Elimination Chamber involving 4 jobbers, 2 actual favorites. Don't you like that? The interesting part is that all former members of the Riot Squad or the Riot Jobbers are in the Elimination Chamber, obviously to conflict for a storyline that nobody's going to care to watch, thanks the Riot Squad always lose matches since they were together. And obviously Ruby Riot just looks like a really forgettable dyke in a oh my god, in a Watch Dogs video game. And Liv Morgan been trying to change up her gimmick, trying to be independent until she kept losing to Lana. We have Sarah Logan continuously losing to both Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair twice. We have the Dark Horse, the black sheep in the family, out of Natalya, that's completely swiped out of feuds. Don't know why she's still on TV when she's obviously being underappreciated. And absolutely annoying to watch in promos. And of course, we have Shayna Baszler, the bitch that actually bit the nape of Becky Lynch, and literally is shown to break arms. So I'm just shocked that they're making this an obvious push to just make Shayna Baszler look strong. No one really cares about the Elimination Chamber, especially when the women are involved, because any other time these bitches will be given title shots. And for a pay-per-view that's already going to have a big card, even though very little build-up is going to be involved that lasts over a year. So you give me a reason why I should be excited for the Elimination Chamber when it's going to be on the next week come March. It's just so they can have extra time so they can build up. And late March used to be WrestleMania. You're telling me now I gotta wait till early April and I have to get another extra 5 weeks for WrestleMania. Like, what is there to build? And what was the point? Why couldn't you have Elimination Chamber this month? Why? What's wrong with you guys? Why do you need that much separation over pay-per-view length? We had 4 weeks from the Rumble, SuperShowdown. You couldn't wait until like mid-March or something to build up for the Elimination Chamber. Oh, and SmackDown is having an Elimination Chamber match just as he will face off against The Fiend after The Fiend issued a match against John Cena. Bray Wyatt against The Fiend. It's not like we see that before. Oh, but it's The Fiend this time. After getting snuffed by a 60-year-old Goldberg, I'm obviously excited, and they want to say that I'm ready. Oh, The Fiend isn't buried. He's strong. He's still facing off against a high-profile wrestler. That's why you think they brought back Cena. And the only reason why, because SmackDown has been sucking for the last several months. And they've done nothing to boost up the ratings or have any other legitimate superstars to actually compete. We know it's predictable. You know what? Let's just continue with the rest of the show. We had Dolph Ziggler face off. I'm about to say Dean Ambrose against Mansoor. Pretty alright matchup. Pretty good roll-ups. They kept going over the accolades of a guy that's been in the company for over 10 years now. Um, Slice spread into a DDT was the finish of this match. There was one time the zigzag nearly got a 2 count over a guy that's barely spent time on TV, except that one time I think I saw him on NXT. So what gives him the right to kick out of a zigzag? A former world heavyweight champion. He loses to a guy that's mainly the shows that are in the Middle East. Like, what's supposed to be Mansoor, to be honest? I'm being serious. Just so he can get a cheap babyface pop for not even the hometown fans care. And then he just speaks in his native fucking tongue. Like, if Goldberg wins, we throw the bombs, not the pyrotechnics. Yeah. So that's how it was. That's how it was, folks. I obviously am not that excited on Mansoor. He seems like an alright talent, or I don't know how offensive this is going to be, but he's like a C-level Ali. Mine, alright athleticism, very little charisma, or any interesting gimmick in him other than he's a local wrestler. He wins matches that are pointless, and his hair is always wet whenever I see him in the ring. So that's practically it I know about Mansoor. Next up, WWE Championship match, and they had this huge, and this was like one of the actual times when they legitimately throw a video together to push the challenger. And I thought this was going to be like Finn Balor against Lesnar, like Ricochet's going to pull some. He's always been a jobber whenever he's near Brock. And the biggest thing he did was become a distraction when he kicked him in the nuts. What did Brock do? Immediately attempt from a missile drop kick into a clothesline. A few suplexes. A vertical suplex that he didn't even complete. He just chucked his ass on the floor. 1 F5, 1, 2, 3. If that wasn't so underwhelming, I don't know what was. This match was so quick. It undersold the fact that Ricochet is supposed to be a top challenger, or at least treat him like an underdog that could serve Brock. I just expected a bit more. I don't mind if it lasted for 5 minutes, 8 minutes, or something. But at least give me something. Not something that lasted for at least a few minutes. Like it ended less than 90 seconds. How underselling that is to the main roster. Drew McIntyre actually pins Brock Lesnar. So I'm just saving up for the worst, folks. I am. Baron Corbin against Roman Reigns in a steel cage match. At least they finally end the feud. The commentators confirmed it. It's over. We're done. No more dog crap. No more Baron Corbin whining like a little bit. Well, that's going to happen regardless come tomorrow. So, what happened? Roman Reigns, when he came in, entered the ring with a key in hand so he can padlock the door to make sure there's no escape. And the selling factor was Corbin was trying to reach into Roman's pocket so we can get the key for the padlock so he can become free. So he can get through the door, but the door is not going to obviously be the finish. It ended up as soon as Corbin started getting the key, he tried to use the key after the chain. Roman Reigns stopped him at a time, and then frickin' failed Superman punch as the counter, Superman punch using the chain, 1, 2, 3. There was times when they kept trying to menage around. Here's the thing, it's boring whenever they wrestle. Their street fight was boring. The only time it was exciting when the Young Bucks, the Usos were coming in. And oh my god, it just felt so crap. It felt so underwhelming. It felt so boring. It's like, does nobody care about steel cage matches anymore? How's Cody Rhodes against Wardlow more exciting to watch than Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin, the top star against the King of the Ring winner? And nobody cares. They haven't built up Corbin as anything except a whiny little prick. There's no gimmick into it. It's not even how Kurt Angle's like an Olympic hero and he's also king of the ring. So he's announced double the respect. They keep announcing Corbin's accomplishments like they mean much. Nearly every other guy in the main roster won the US title or pinned Kurt Angle before. So what's the problem here? And it's like, get out of my TV heat. It's not even like heelish heat, because, okay, he's getting the boos, but nobody wants to watch him on TV. You see the problem here? Whenever you watch a heel, you have to feel like, oh, I don't want to see his face, or me myself want to kick his ass. Now I don't want to watch him on TV. And he comes around jobbing onto Roman Reigns 3 times and a couple times in tag team matches, and they keep thinking this is a historic rivalry. They kept shouting out on memorable moments. What, when both of them got choked with dog food at each other? What feud was that? To show what the top dog was. It was obvious whoever was going to win was going to face off against Goldberg, or at least Bray Wyatt. And it was Roman Reigns, obviously. They're obviously trying to get Corbin over. Next up was Bayley against Naomi in a SmackDown level match. In a predictable finish after she beat Carmella in a number 1 contenders match. Springboard clothesline, triangle, roundhouse kick. It was like some kind of springboard kick, vertical suplex. I think it was a near fall on the belly to belly. Naomi missed a split leg moonsault, and then using what was used to cover her up as her biggest advantage, she used the T-shirt. It was a clever finish. She used the one-handed skull-crushing finale, Chris Jericho's finisher before he used the code breaker. Chucked his ass on the floor. 1, 2, 3. I have to say, unique finish for an match. It felt like this could have been on SmackDown. Other than the finish, the match was completely bland. Naomi was just getting a peak of offense, obviously, until Bayley came with a cheap victory. They're obviously going to do something like that, so I'm not that enticed into the matchup. The match didn't do much for me. Hopefully Bayley gets a real feud. Because they don't do SmackDown because they barely have anybody. They'll do like Dana Brooke against Bayley and nobody's there for that. Or at least Lacey Evans against Bayley in some kind of stipulation. They have mainly just blondes having her biggest feuds and she doesn't care. Nobody cares. Bayley's already been a bland women's champion since turning heel back in October, and I'm just not caring at all. Goldberg lost a tooth. He did lose a tooth in the match, I heard. So, in the match, it took 5 spears to take away Bray Wyatt with barely a lick of offense. By Wyatt's part. Except a bit of the mandible claw used to stop Goldberg from getting up so he can attempt another spear. And we thought it was going to be predictable because there was no fear factor at all, and that kind of did play a point into Goldberg has no intimidation factor on Bray. Do we know this is going to just be a ploy? Whoever was going to win this match was going to face off against Roman Reigns. So obviously they went to spear versus the spear. I'm upset because they wanted Bray to feud with Cena with the belt or Reigns to just give him more legitimacy. And plus, God, it's got to do something. But at least Goldberg is going to be there. He's going to be in the ring. He's going to show himself and do promos involving the Universal Championship. And Bray is just doing the same thing. It's great and all. I don't mind the gimmick. It gets repetitive, and you don't want a gimmick to get repetitive, especially when it doesn't change much of the fans. But the fans like it. He already challenged Cena with the belt or not. If he wins, is supposed to legitimize his chances more than what we saw at WrestleMania 30 when the Colt gimmick doesn't work. So if the Fiend gimmick doesn't work, it's gonna be fucked, and it really is going to be fucked. I obviously don't want the Fiend to fail to beat Cena. So all I'm gonna say is this: please God, do something. Why did I keep dropping stuff like that? For a dramatic effect. But other than that's practically it. Goldberg is now Universal Champion for the second time. And wow, the match ended quickly, thank God. And it just ended up with a better guy for the job, so they gotta do something for Mania. And what's better than Goldberg versus Reigns, even though not a lot of people are excited for that? At least it's gonna do something. It's gonna be adrenaline rushing. It's obvious they're gonna do Roman Reigns win the belt, and Cena and Wyatt practically. They don't need a championship for that because obviously Cena doesn't think of staying there for long, and it's supposed to push legitimacy. So I can see some of the strategy that WWE is trying to do with this. I'm just not a big fan for most of Super Showdown, and obviously what they're trying to build up for the rest of Mania. And I'm sure a lot of fans, especially off the IWC and more people that are real wrestling fans, are not that enticed in the build-up of WWE at this point. So I'm just gonna give Crown Jewel a 4 out of 10. It's a mediocre show. Did very little to entice my excitement for obviously a show that nobody's gonna watch on a Thursday afternoon, where some kids are going to be at home. I mean, at school. So it's dumb. I was at working while my friend was texting me the the outtakes and the details of the show. So yeah, I'm not that excited. I wasn't that excited at all. All I was shocked was why the hell would you make your top drawing gimmick lose the world title just to do a match that no one's gonna care to see because obviously it might be too predictable or just underwhelming at this point. So I don't care. And yeah, Ricochet just got buried, just like Kofi Kingston got buried. So yeah, that's practically it. Hopefully you guys liked the review. That's it coming from me. And join DST show. That's practically it. It's been a while since I uploaded. It's great to be back. Hopefully you comment down below to share your opinions on the video, the show, or so on. I'd like to hear you guys' comments. It's good to read a comment or two. So that's it coming from me.